The notion of contact tracing is very much in the news these days. Lots of discussions about it, and many aspects of the discussion focusing on privacy issues. A lot of people understand the principle of contact tracing, but aren't entirely comfortable with all of the details. Many of that discomfort, or much of that discomfort, having to do with privacy matters. So with that in mind, the discussion continues on a Sunday morning, courtesy of Faye Argimundi, the woman they call the Fixer over there at Mimik Technologies. Faye is the CEO and founder of the company Mimik Technology here in Vancouver. Faye, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about Mimik Technologies. You're the founder of the company. You own 12 patents. You at one time were running 3 companies, one of which became Mimik. Tell us about Mimik and the story behind it.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Mimik is a software infrastructure, software platform that extends the cloud to the edge. So we're pioneer in hybrid edge cloud platform. What it means that with our software as part of the application, when you download it on your device is now a cloud server, which means that the data can remain on your device and get processed on device. And the application communication with some of its backend elements now remains on the same device, so you don't always go to a cloud. And also application-to-application communication remains in peer-to-peer fashion. So instead of going through a third party and coming back in or sending your data to a cloud, everything remains on device and the communication happens locally between amongst devices. Cloud, some function still exists in the central cloud as we know it, but it's global function and is more for authorization than seeing the data about you. So that's what Mimik is a platform that is available for application developers across the industry. It's not specific to COVID-19. We have 11 patents on the technology.
Right.
We have 11 that is issued, 11 patents that is pending, and more than hundreds in making.
So how long has the company been around, Faye?
The company has been around for close to 11 years, 9.5 years in a stealth mode. We were developing the software quietly because it's disruptive. It's the next evolution of cloud and to enable the next generation of application. So it's been around for 10 years in quiet, but then for the past 16 months, we have been promoting the platform. It's commercially available, and we have dozens of customers that are using, enterprise customers that are using the platform across their sector. The most important thing is that hybrid edge is the most secure technology available today to protect the user data.
Okay. So that's what I was coming to. The hybrid edge cloud company is what you call yourself, at least on the website. And you've got a client base based on the fact that you are able to provide this service to devices and in a very, very secure pattern, correct? This is why business is now taking off. And again, this all began very quietly for a long time, but you've been out there in the marketplace for a couple of years. So the client base that you've established, Faye, or at least you had a solid client base prior to the pandemic. Now, since that has come along, how has that affected business? Has it indeed multiplied the activity level?
The demand for our platform generally has increased, mainly because what our platform provides to other enterprises that they're developing their application with Mimik is that you reduce the cost of operation, you reduce your cost of cloud, you reduce the latency of communication, you improve the data privacy. And all these three elements are the elements that right now more than ever is a necessity for the customers, for the enterprises, because obviously cost is of a huge burden given the economy, and also given the massive shift to use of digital solution. All by sudden everything is digital and everything is online, so cost of operation is very important. Latency of communication is very important, and obviously because there is a huge, one of the major sectors that's been impacted with digital and everything is all by sudden digital is generally healthcare sector.
Yes.
And in healthcare, data privacy is extremely important. And also now with COVID, with contact tracing, data privacy is of essence. So we're getting a lot of inquiry from the different enterprise sector for using our technology. We also been embraced by Amazon Web Services. So they have fast-tracked us in their partner program, and they are listing Mimik as their marketplace for other enterprises for their customer, Amazon customer, to now utilize our platform in conjunction with Amazon Web Services.
Interesting stuff. So now you talk about you make the cloud larger, more scalable, more efficient. And you make apps more interoperable. You reduce development time and hosting costs. You save network bandwidth. You reduce the latency that you were talking about. And importantly here, improve data privacy. Now, back to the notion of contact tracing, Faye, because as it's certainly a tactic, a strategy that is at play all over the world and with varying degrees of success, but everywhere it's been employed, it has produced a level of success. Here in Canada, the discussion is still very much underway, and privacy, personal privacy, seems to be the deal breaker. What do you hear, not necessarily from clients, but from individuals who are after, who appreciate the principle of contact tracing, but do have very real privacy concerns?
Absolutely, because we don't want our data to turn into an infections against our identity.
Right.
And at the same time, we know that contact tracing and testing are important in order to deal with the current COVID-19 situation.
Yes.
And be able to reopen the economy. So the key thing with utilizing for users, and I always put myself in the shoes of consumer because I am a consumer myself. In order for us to utilize a solution, we want to make sure that our data remains private, and that's part of the adoption. In order for this application to be successful, we need between 60% to 80% of the residents or in any dense population to use the app in order for this to be efficiently running, successfully provide outcome. In order to provide outcome, you need to provide peace of mind that your data is always secure.
Sure
and
do.
We are not watching you. We are not watching you, right? That's the key.
That's
We're
right.
not monitoring you. And we don't get to who this person is throughout the journey of contact tracing. And contact tracing is, in my opinion, and a lot of people that we're talking to, is just one feature, right? And the feature is about two devices discovering each other and have a reference addressable information of each other's device so that in future an email or a notification or alert can be sent to these devices.
Correct.
Right? And that's just one part. We have been, because of our hybrid edge cloud technology, naturally, inherently, as part of the platform, and you can see that on our website, we always had this notion of devices discovering each other based on their proximity. And the moment COVID-19 and contact tracing topic was opened up, this was second or third week of February, we reached out to federal and provincial governments of Canada, proactively informing them that not only we can do contact tracing as part of our platform, but it's with full data privacy of user, because the data remains all the time at the device, and the communication between user and application remains on the device, and the community alert between the users and
the contact, right,
is also done from the device.
Faye, I need to take a break here, but I can't do it before you tell us, because you approached the government of Canada and governments at other levels with this technology, this offer of contact tracing technology, and explained how the hybrid edge cloud company can provide this, assuming enough Canadians opt in. Very short answer here, and we'll flesh it out after the break. What did the government say to Mimik? Did they give you the thumbs up, or are they considering your proposal still? What's the status?
It's been a silent status.
Oh.
We have not heard back from them, and we have even presented at the House of Commons on May 21st with IBM and Google that we have also developed an application called Pandemic that they can come and see and discuss this. And we also have all the components around it for questionnaires when you want to do disease matching and everything that is also done on device. But we have not heard back from to be invited for an assessment and plausibility of our platform and our solution.
Still on hold.
Still on hold.
Indeed. Mimik, by the way, you can find them online. Mimik is M-I-M-I-K, mimik.com. Our guest this morning is the CEO of Mimik. And Mimik, here's a brief description of what they do. Mimik enables all computing devices to act as cloud servers to create a larger and faster cloud with better data privacy and lower cost. They call themselves the Hybrid Edge Cloud Company. Its CEO and founder is Faye Arjamandi. Joining us on this morning. Faye, I have to ask you this because it's all over your website. They call you the fixer. Why?
I have two names, Troublemaker and the Fixer. Mainly because I'm great at organizing chaos. I think that's my job.
Okay.
I'm a solution oriented, and whenever there's a problem, which is our lives these days more than ever, I managed to figure out a path forward and a solution with collaborate, and we always get to outcome with collaboration on my team. It's not a one-man show ever.
Indeed. So let's talk a little bit about contact tracing because, which is the focus of our discussion this morning. We've seen, for example, South Korea has proven to the world that this strategy is a superb approach, especially when coupled with testing and all the rest of it. And it's something, though, that I'm sure you pay a lot of attention. You've appeared before the House of Commons trying to convince the government of Canada to adopt this technology because of its privacy aspect. And I bet you when you sit down and talk to Canadians over a cup of coffee and you talk about contact tracing, in principle, we get it. In practice, however, a lot of us are really a little nervous, a lot nervous about surrendering private information that's going where, Faye, and to be retained by whom and for how long. These are legitimate questions Canadians are asking.
Absolutely. And these are exact elements that we are addressing with our platform. because we believe that generally speaking, across all industry sectors, by the way, it's time that consumers have control of their data.
Hear, hear.
You constantly need to be able to see who is accessing your data. And by the way, nobody should be able to access your data. And that was one of the mistakes we made in the mobile internet era. Your data need to remain on your control, is your asset. And you have to have the ability to say, I want you to see my data or to copy my data or to have access to which part of data for how long.
Right.
This is what our platform enables and guarantees, right? Because you provide that capability. We call it, it's almost like, imagine you have data in your wallet versus cash in your wallet, and you have to have control of that. And no third parties, including government entities, should have the ability to constantly monitoring you and tracing you. The example we give is like, imagine you had a break-in in your home. Mm-hmm. You ask law enforcement to come to your place. They come, they take a report. You don't give them the key to your home after they want to leave. And they say, okay, from now on, I'm sitting in a glass house and you guys can see me anything I do just because I called you in for one time of breaking. That's why data privacy is so important, because you want to have the ability to communicate and receive service. But that doesn't mean that you want to be monitored all the time and to give access to all your data and digital assets to people at all the time.
So, Faye, we've only got a couple of minutes left here, and you've appeared before the government of Canada. You've approached them. You've pitched them with this contact tracing approach, this unique Vancouver-based approach. You're still on hold. They haven't decided anything. So, could the conflict be that under your app, the individual controls exactly how much data he or she will share with the government for the specific purpose of contact tracing and for how long, whereas the government on the other side might want a little more access to a lot more data for an indefinite period of time? Could that be part of the reason the government's dragging its feet on this?
I can't comment on that.
Okay, fair ball.
Could that be that, or is it because they trust larger companies like Apple, Google, Shopify, and BlackBerry
I suppose
more? We are concerned that Apple and Google approach is only it adds contact tracing to the operating system, as Prime Minister announced that they want to go with Apple, Google, Shopify, and BlackBerry. Our solution is complementary with Apple and Google, and in fact, it addressed their shortcomings and their challenges. And we have made that clear as well. But the issue with Apple and Google today is that it becomes part of the operating system, which is quite scary. It's not clear whether you can disable that capability.
Right.
When it's an application, you delete. When it's part of operating system, you don't know what's going on, right? And also, it's not clear that what is the role of one of the largest shopping platform provider, Shopify, is.
And this is why
implementation.
Exactly, and I have to leave it there, Faye, in the interest of time. But this is why Canadians are so nervous about this stuff. All these monsters in the data gathering game. They sell data for a business model. We're very and justifiably concerned about this. We wish you and Mimik considerable success, Faye Arjamandi. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Mimik, MIMIK.com. Check it out. It's a local company and a great option.